Previously in X-Men. The X-Men have died, and their act of heroism was captured live on television. Mutant Massacre survivors Nightcrawler and Shadowcat are in mourning, as they were recovering from their injuries in seclusion on Muir Isle and unable to help their teammates. I am Jason Lapidus.
I am Chris Sanigan.
And we are Group of Seven Comics. Welcome to episode 163 of our ongoing live stream read-through of the comics that became classic, as we read Excalibur, special edition, better known by the world or to the world as The Sword is Drawn, by writer Chris Claremont, penciler Alan Davis, inker Paul Neary with a little help from Mark Farmer along the way. Cover date of 1987. But there you go, man. That's super exciting. Chris,
yeah,
how are you?
Oh, I'm doing good. Doing good, thanks. I'm excited to tackle this.
Why is that?
Well, you had gifted it to me a few months back, and I love the Alan Davis art, and I like this team up, and I'm excited to dive into Excalibur.
Yeah, I mean, I'm other than the nonsense about where it comes from, which is not relevant to our story tonight, my friend. How you acquired such or said issue is only interesting between you and I.
Fair
but yeah, I mean, my context is this is one that I grabbed up off the shelf when it came out, and getting a prestige issue was always a little bit exciting because, you know, they weren't printed on newsprint. It's printed on a finer paper, or I shouldn't say finer meaning thinner, but finer meaning of a higher quality. It's printed on nicer paper. It is spine bound or perfect bound, so it's not stapled. It has a spine to it, so it's kind of a little bit bookshelfy. And of course, it's printed in a way so that these colors really stand out. They're gorgeous, and they're not done in the traditional 4-color printing or 4-color coloring process, but I think these are sort of painted or maybe even Doc Martin ink dye. I don't know, but I just know that they're more expressive than traditional comic printing. And so as a kid, you know, I was 12 when I got this. I knew that it was something interesting. I was already reading X-Men comics, so I knew the characters. And I mentioned before on the show that I was really excited to get in on the ground floor on things like X Factor, you know, etc. And so getting on the ground floor felt really exciting for me because, you know, X-Men had so much history. They already had a second series called, you know, Classic X-Men. So I knew that Marvel held them in high esteem, and I knew that they had made it onto TV, you know, in Spider-Man's show. And Wolverine was cool. He was in Secret Wars, and they were in Secret Wars. It was like they were important, you know?
Sure.
And so getting in on like another X-Men series just felt really, really great for me. And then seeing Alan Davis's art. I don't know if everyone loves it as much as I do. I think it is just he's so excellent at what he does. Like, he's so good at figure drawing and faces. His anatomy is amazing. His storytelling is really nice and clear. Like, I can't say enough good things about it. Maybe it isn't the cool style that people wanted when, you know, in 1990. But in 1987, I was like, who can draw like this guy? It's just, he was so much better than people in like his fundamentals.
Right.
And we've talked about him before. You know, he's a British guy, worked on Captain Britain series before. He's famously worked on Miracle Man, which is a bit of a convoluted way of saying Marvel Man, which is a whole nother thing. But if you're interested in a critical, like, adult take on the superhero, like a deconstruction of the superhero genre, Alan Moore's Miracle Man is like near the top of that list.
Okay.
And Alan Davis did some work on Batman and the Outsiders. And of course, Batman Year 2, he does the first 2 issues, I believe, before McFarlane takes over. Comes over to Marvel and does a few fill-ins on X-Men and New Mutants. And we've read those, of course, at least the X-Men ones. And then, you know, off to Excalibur. So all is good. Yeah, it's how it's going to be. So She's a doll. Michael in the chat says, hello, everyone. Jason Jose says, hello, X-Peeps. Allie says, happy Tuesday, all you awesome nerds. I love Excalibur. I'll have to catch most of this episode tomorrow, but I had to stay awake long enough to say how excited I am that you guys are covering this. Thanks, Allie. That's nice of you. I hope you enjoy this tomorrow. We're glad you're here. David Cutler says, hello, Exy boys. No, Exy men. Oh,
I definitely have, again, as folks who, follow this channel know, I don't have much previous history with X-Men, but at this time, when I was going to the Max Melks and the convenience stores to pick up my comics if I was up the cottage for the summer or whatever it happened to be, I picked up more than a few issues of Excalibur because, of course, I was as a young kid, I was drawn in by the Arthurian connections, the legend of Excalibur and King Arthur and those kinds of things, and so that plus superheroes, I was like, oh, this seems right up my alley. So I actually probably read a bit more Excalibur than I did X-Men back in the day. I can't really remember many particular issues, but I would 100% like the team and absolutely. Yeah.
So I'll put a couple thoughts out there. One, this is the version of Captain Britain that I will always come back to. So this is like my de facto Captain Britain. This is John Byrne, Arthur Adams, and maybe Alan Davis are like my favorite versions of Nightcrawler.
Right.
Everything about him, the way he moves, head and shoulders, my favorite version of Rachel Summers.
Oh, yes. Absolutely. Yeah.
And she actually seems dangerous in this.
Yeah.
There's an edge to her that Romita Jr.
Well,
just
maybe
did not
she
capture.
found her spot, right? Because it was always, having the Rachel Summers conversations over the last year and a bit, it's always seemed to be a bit of a round hole, square peg kind of thing, not a natural fit. But
it could be that, her being in X-Men, there's only so many, everyone has to play a part in X-Men for things to work, You have your characters who have innocence, you have your characters who don't want to go over the edge. You have your newcomer who often is the innocent. You have, your veteran who's taking things seriously. Like, you have all these pieces, and there just wasn't a great spot for her to develop. It's funny because it's the same writer, which is usually my other argument, but it's the same. Chris Claremont just has a different perspective on her. Remember, fans of X-Men comics out there and viewers of the show, remember we mentioned a little while ago there was supposed to be a Phoenix Rachel Summers limited series.
Mm-hmm.
So she gets at the end of one of those issues where they're fighting, I believe, a few different teams at the same time. Like they're dealing with the Hellfire Club in Central Park. Does Freedom Force show up for that as well?
Yes,
or just
they
Nimrod?
Do. No, they do.
So Freedom Force, Hellfire Club, and Nimrod, who's like a future Sentinel, they all get tied up in this thing in this battle. And she, of course, has been gutted by Wolverine before that even starts. So she's been on the run, and everything is kind of converging in Central Park. And she finds what we can now sort of see is a through the looking glass sort of portal into another realm where she's going to get her body repaired, kind of give her soul over and get her body repaired. And we know that Claremont had scripted a limited series. Not Silvestri. Rick Leonardi was scheduled to draw it and actually drew a few pages. Some of it has leaked. It's out there, but we don't know what the story would have been. But I think maybe Claremont had figured out what to do with her and was going to use that, let's just say 3 or 4 issue limited series to execute on that vision. But it never happened. The character has been AWOL from the storyline. And, obviously the other characters are wondering like where she's at. They really could have used her help in some of those fights because she's super powerful. So finally we're, a couple of years later, we're getting to see where she's at. I just wanted to go back to your Arthurian legend comment. I'm totally drawn in by that. And I'm wondering if this is a good execution on that pull. Like, the thread is there. It's obviously in the name. They're in Britain. Excalibur the sword is drawn. King Arthur, sorry, Captain Britain, like maybe could be an Arthurian character.
Sure.
Does it work? Is there, like, I guess what I'm really trying to say is there a nice mesh between the X-Men as a vision, the X-Men's dream, and the Arthurian tale? Like, is this a parallel that works well or a pairing that works well together?
Good question.
Let's find out.
Hey,
I don't want to spoil.
Isn't that the Captain Britain Marvel Legend have like a King Arthur head, or like esque, where it's like a bearded?
He comes with
and a sword.
The one that's in this series or this book, and the second one where he has the longer mustache and beard kind of coming out, as if it was because his helmet goes.
Yeah, his helmet does.
You don't know, but man, it suits him so well to have that blonde mustache and beard coming out in the mask. Neat to think, like, the line, like, Black Knight is Arthurian,
right?
Loosely, Roma is the daughter of Merlin, so we've dealt with Roma for the last little while, where she is she's this guardian of reality, and she's supposed to be the daughter of Merlin. So, like, there is this really interesting connection to the Arthurian legend. I just wonder how the pairing goes together. So I've mentioned this also before, the comparison to the Hellboy mythology.
Right.
I don't want to spoil everything that happens in Hellboy because it is finite, and I hope everyone has the chance to read all 57 issues or whatever the actual Hellboy story is, including Hellboy in Hell. That being said, it pairs, the ideas of demons and hell and Ragnarok, like different mythologies in. And, Baba Yaga plays a big role. Hecate plays a role. That's like Greek mythology. Nimue, like all these different things seem to really work well in the Hellboy scape. I don't know yet if Arthurian legend works well within the X-Men, or because it is the team. I wonder about, like, the ideologies of it.
Sure.
If, like, the Arthurian ideology mixes with the X-Men's. So interesting.
Hey, speaking of Arthurian legends, Once and Future King, great comic series, by the way. Really enjoyed that one. If people like that.
I've only read the first trade.
Yeah. Me too. It was really good.
And shouts to Jason Lowe in the chat. To me, my ex-friends. How are you, Jason?
Hey. Go ahead. Oh, I was going to say also, connecting dots here. Congrats, Jason Lowe, as well, because they just announced X-Men Hellfire Gala Vigil #1 comes out in July with, I think you wrote a little story in there, Jason. So, hey, man, congrats. That's awesome. Very cool for this X-Men Tuesday night chat.
Awesome. So, Ali says, completely makes sense. Xavier trying to create Camelot. Okay, not challenging you, just asking. When you say Camelot, what do you mean? Like, what is Camelot in this definition? Like, is it paradise? Is it like I don't actually know, so I'm interested in what you mean by. Yeah, Jason says never forget Krakoa. Yeah, I think about it. Oh, so Alex says an idyllic world.
Okay.
So we can go with that, and we'll see how well that fits in. Do we need any other background on? I don't know if we need any background on the series, but we'll throw this thing in.
Well, we know we automatically. So 4 of the 5, I guess. I'm not sure if the 5th one, but certainly 4 of the 5. So 3 of the 5 we're very familiar with. The 4th, Captain Britain, just showed up in that annual we did a couple weeks back as part of that team that goes to that castle in the other dimension, and they all kind of lose. I guess Meggan's in that one too, isn't Meggan? So maybe Meggan is there.
But
they're both in that one.
Okay. So it's annual 12,
right? With that dude who needs them to steal something for him.
I'll throw that episode link.
Yeah.
In this moment when I fix the episode in post.
Anyway, all to say, like, that's really the background. Right?
Sure.
That's our understanding of them in terms of how we've covered these characters.
And of course, Captain Britain is Psylocke's brother.
Right. Brian Braddock, Psylocke's brother. So we've got that, and Meggan is his partner.
Yes.
And Meggan is a changeling.
Well, let's
elfish.
The story will give us some background.
Okay, there you go.
We can get into that. Of course, toying around ToyCon.
Hey, we're there.
We're going to be there May 3rd. Hope you all can come. Thornhill Community Center. It should be fun. We'll have comics there. Of course, I'll be selling some action figures along with you.
Yeah.
And we'll be having a nice old time. Other events. We just did a Halton Hills Fan Fest on Saturday. That was cute.
It was cute. It was,
cute little library. I liked it.
You know what? Every time we go to these things, we end up selling, handful of books. And it's always a fun hang.
True.
And we get to eat, right?
Sandwiches.
We always look for a place to eat. This time we ate at a barbecue place across the street. They had these pretty decent beef brisket barbecue sandwiches. This was pretty good. Yeah,
it's good times.
Good times.
Montreal Comic Arts Festival.
Yeah.
May 23rd to 25th. Looking forward to that. And of course, TCAF in June. We got a fun stretch ahead.
We should put our Guelph show up there too.
Oh yeah,
April 26th.
26th.
Yeah, Saturday.
Yeah, I forgot. Thank you.
At the Bookshelf Cinema, Indie Cinema downtown Guelph, Ontario, for the Guelph premiere and Q&A of Paying for It, the movie about Canadian cartoonist Chester Brown's experiences with prostitution.
Yes.
Really what it's about, and directed by Suk-Yin Lee.
Yes.
Who will Canadian foreign much music VJ and artists and directors. That's pretty cool.
Looking forward to seeing you there, Jason.
Jason, you're gonna be there. Awesome.
Nice.
Looking forward to it.
So, X-Men, we've seen so far in our read through from 1975 up until now. For us, is 1988. This issue is 87. We've seen many spin-offs, mostly limited series. Things like the Wolverine limited series, the Magic limited series, Wolverine or Shadowcat and Kitty Pryde and Wolverine, Fantastic Four versus X-Men, Avengers versus X-Men. There's a Mephisto one-shot versus X-Men.
Really?
There are many other, of course, classic
X-Men versus Teen Titans.
Yes. Amazing crossover. But in terms of ongoing series, spin-offs, in 1982, we get the New Mutants. And of course, I did put issue 1 here. I didn't put the graphic novel, but just forgive me that discretion, please. Or indiscretion. In 85, we get X Factor, the first issue of that ongoing series.
Those suits are not doing anything for me.
I know they don't hit you. For me, they do, but only because of nostalgia. And I can clearly feel which part of me is being tugged. And it's just nostalgia. I can't get enough of them. I remember
sort of putting this out on the X Factor cover, by the way. But like, if they're baptism of fire, they're going into the flames, and it looks like Bobby Iceman Drake is like going to release this wild blast of ice into the flames. It's like 3 snowballs.
Pew, pew, pew.
Pew, 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 pew. Hey guys, I got this. Pew, 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 pew.
Yeah. So we've got a new series, every couple of years, and here we are in 87 with this prestige format issue, and that's pretty cool. That I found both of these were very conventional. If you go back and read the New Mutants graphic novel, which we have an episode on, or New Mutants #1, artistically, they're both very conventional down the middle. Very house style. X Factor #1, very much down the middle, in a house style. Mm-hmm. Nothing too extraordinary with the story or the art, and that's totally fine. Both series eventually find their groove, but for me, no question that visually, I thought up to this point in time, up to 1987, this Excalibur, the sword is drawn, prestige format one shot was like by far the best looking spin-off from X-Men that I'd ever seen. Matters to You says, Sword in the Stone in Arthurian legend, and everything lends to the idea of someone of lower means, sect, or class becoming critical to a pivotal in leading the next generation. An allegory, Homo superior, neat. Yeah, there's room, right? There's room for all this stuff. I found the pencils for this, or sorry, the inks for it. It's a weird scan because I don't know if this is two things or one thing, but what I really just wanted to look at here was how Alan Davis and Paul Neary make King Arthur in that background like come out of the sky.
Stonehenge,
like
I
the way
guess.
that thing is rendered is insane. It's so good.
Stonehenge.
So good. Yeah, and Stonehenge is in there, or a monument of that kind. Whether it's actually Stonehenge or not, I don't know. But so cool. And then there are so many pages. I'm not going to show here, but there are so many pages that are on like heritage auctions and comic arts fans of original art. And if you want to see his Davis and Neary's work up close, it is an option. But just to show for fun, something crazy. I'm going to just show this. It's insane. I get interested sometimes to see what happens. I printed a couple off to see how clear or unclear they would be at full size. And the two that I printed, the second one's really good, like really nice to look at. And the first one I printed is not bad either. Just sizing.
Not either, yeah.
But I'm keen to share that. Maybe put these under the microscope, so to speak. Put a camera on these tomorrow or the next day, and put an episode together where we can look at about 20 pieces of original art. And these, of course, are reproductions of the original art, but done in my own kind of portfolio version of an artist edition. But if you are original art fans, you'll probably get the same feeling as looking at a low quality or lower quality artist edition. Kind of neat.
It's funny too how this, you were talking about how this one kind of is a sweet spot for you, but nostalgia, but from a certain time. And it's funny because I posted, I put on my Instagram stories a couple of months back that I was reading this, and the people who engaged with it, who liked it and said, "Oh yeah, it all varied from a very specific time." Like other X-Men, this one clearly has it's got some legs in terms of connecting. It's got some major connection points there.
I think so too, but I can't tell because I'm inside the echo chamber. Michael says, just curious, have you read Obnoxio the Clown versus the X-Men? That is a no. I have not read it.
No.
Is it worth tracking down to give it a read? Let us know. Let us know in the chat. Did that? Okay, we don't have to. Okay, we're good.
We're good.
Let us now remove this and get into this. Here we go.
Okay.
You ready to do this, Chris?
Yeah, so I'm not moving this now. So usually I'm the puppeteer behind the scenes moving the pages forward, but you're good?
I mean, come on. Well,
I know, I just want to
look at me.
I just want to make sure. Look at this guy. Come on. What do you think? Yeah. Hey, want to hear something funny before we get into? You want to hear something funny?
Yeah, man.
So I played D&D, right, today?
Yeah.
Right. And I've often, as part of this party, I often have like a high performance role. Like I like to perform as part of like in my actions. And we were facing off against these like humanoid guys that came out of like tubes, like they're in a goo, they're attacking. And I was like, well, instead of attacking them right on, I'm going to play them a song to see if I can entrance them. I was like, I'm going to play a song that they know well. And I played Wonderwall by Oasis. And I rolled so high when I did it that they all stopped suddenly and started swaying the Wonderwall. And so for about a whole turn, my whole party could attack a whole bunch of things while they were just like caught in the moment. And then I got hit. And I said, you didn't like that one? Time to bring out the big guns. Guitar comes on. Tom Petty, Free Fallin'. Guess what? I rolled high again. And those monsters, man, they paid attention. And it enabled us in.
That's quite a story, Chris.
I'm just saying, if you're ever in Dungeons and Dragons and you want to play some music to distract or entrance, go back. There's some good campfire songs there,
Marner.
Oh, man, it's not Nylander? That doesn't help me, does it?
No, Marner got 100 points. Mwah.
Well, there you go. Anyway, all to say, there you go. Wonderwall.
Hey, Dad, what's the point of that story? I like stories.
I like stories, kids. You play the D&D and you play,
All right.
Oasis come through. All right, here we go.
Dude, you ready?
Yeah.
Look at that.
Ooh, I don't have. Well, that is cool.
So we get special assistance on inks from Mark Farmer. And if you read a lot of Alan Davis stuff later, you'll see sometimes Mark Farmer is the go-to guy, as Paul Neary does other projects. But Davis and Neary was like a pairing that really elevated each other, I think, in a good way. We get Orzechowski on letters, right? The X-Men guy. Glynis Oliver on colors. Maybe this is why she wasn't doing some of those other coloring jobs. She was busy doing this one.
Maybe.
Interesting. Vicente on edits, along with Terry Kavanagh, and I don't know what that dynamic is. I wonder if there was like a Marvel UK. I don't know if he's a Marvel UK guy or if he was her assistant. I don't know. Of course, we go. And you get created by Claremont and Alan Davis. Neat. You ready, Chris?
I'm ready.
David says, sounds like they farmed out the inking chores. Oh. That's good. Kitty pride. Toss, turn. Fidget to and fro. Tick-tock. The clock. Time drags. Slower by the minute. Through a night that lasts forever. All she wants is sleep. So much, too much to ask. A small slice of oblivion to take the hurt away. Because she hurts. Thoughts racing, images replaying, etching themselves. Those final awful moments. How she hates them into her mind's eye. She can't. She'd cry if she had any tears left. Wakey, wakey.
Rise and shine, dear.
Up and at 'em.
Huh?
Have her enough rough night sweets?
Not to worry.
Make you pretty.
We'll put it right.
Here's your costume.
Autographs for fans?
Script revisions.
Who? What? Where? Cut it out. Let go. Hey!
Harsh words, fouler thoughts. Rage, a welcome anodyne for grief. All vanishing the instant she's thrust on stage. I find it neat, like that it's the colors that sells the nighttime thing. And they're not actually dark colors.
Right.
It's essentially that kind of turquoise and blue. Just really does the job. And then, when you know what the colorist is going to do, you can just give them so much space. Need to also look at the things that Alan Davis puts in that room. So, of course, we get probably an Audrey Hepburn poster.
Yeah.
We get a Mikhail Baryshnikov ballet poster. For those who don't know, he's a famous Russian dancer. The Once and Future King, which you mentioned, but different version. And she's got a messy computer desk. Look at that computer. Look at that. Look how big that monitor is. Chunky monitor. We don't have those anymore, do we?
We do not.
And then there is a comic that is put in front of her, and of course it is that X-Men annual where the New Mutants get to have the X-Men get their graduation X-Men suits, and it's a Mojo comic.
You're right, it is.
So it's maybe a little foreshadow.
Yeah.
Arthur Adams cover.
I thought the Hepburn, I don't know, originally when I saw that Hepburn, I thought, the movie The Lion in Winter with Katharine Hepburn, which is about Henry II. But
oh, yeah.
I don't know, maybe too much of a stretch there.
Yeah, that's a good thought, though. So who'd you say? It was Peter O'Toole, Anthony Hopkins.
Katharine Hepburn.
Katharine Hepburn, of course, is Eleanor of Aquitaine.
That's right. Timothy Dalton.
Oh, Timothy Dalton.
James Bond himself.
T-Daltz.
The best James Bond. Don't at me.
He is a good James Bond.
He's a solid James Bond.
The movies are just very, very dated.
Yeah, of course.
David's adding, Terry Kavanagh was an infamous Spider-Man writer at one point during the Clone Saga. Oh. David says, I've always said that rage is a welcome anodyne for grief. Oh. Now, I'm not catching the reference. Feel free to let me know. The Leafs go for an empty netter and fucked it up. Kind of. Matthews got it. Matthews got 400 goals. There you go. Empty netter. Moving on.
Moving on. Bring on the sends. Here we go.
Yeah. Oh, Stanley presents Excalibur. Of course, we've taken such a detour that we've lost the thread. It was before. Harsh words, fouler thoughts, rage a welcome anodyne for grief. All vanishing the instant she's thrust on stage to wonder if she's lost her mind. David says, I just don't know what that word means. Anodyne. Like a cure, essentially. Like a... Yeah. There you go. Now, how great. So I know that you've mentioned before you didn't really like the way that Alan Davis designs Wolverine's mask. I always dug it as just a different way of doing it, but I've always liked it because it's so distinctly his.
Right.
But I see what you're saying. But look at these figures on everybody.
Yeah, they're great.
They look so good. Nice to see Xavier again. Colossus in costume. So
Absolutely.
cool.
I love the Havoc as the understudy. It's a good joke.
Yeah. No, it's good. And there's all these little kind of stickers or whatever on all the machinery. It says Mojo's New World Picks.
Yeah.
So that's pretty cool. And
Dazzler and Longshot getting frisky.
What's that?
Dazzler and Longshot getting frisky.
Yeah, that's his jacket's nice and open. That's pretty good. All right, let's get into this.
Okay.
Time is money, people. Let's get that set rigged and ready. I can't keep my actors waiting forever. Or perhaps, miraculously, found the answer to her prayers. Sorry, to her most heartfelt prayers. I gotta say, just even, and not to objectify, but just the way that Alan Davis renders Psylocke's bum to have a bit of squish where she's sitting on that box.
Right.
It's just so well done. Really, really great. Really, really great. And the colors are so good. Oh my gosh.
The X-Men. They're alive. I knew it couldn't be true. Had to be a mistake. They'd find a way to beat the Reaper. But what's with the movie studio? Professor Xavier's our teacher, the man who founded the team. Why is he playing director? Psylocke, since when did the X-Men decide to go Hollywood? Your eyes. You've got no eyes.
We're magic people, Kitty. Where else would we belong? But in a magic town.
Hold still, Miss Braddock. This one will take a sec. How's that?
Perfect. Kitty, what do you think?
No, this isn't real. This can't be happening. Hey, watch it, kid. You're hogging my light.
Sound check, picture check, complete, cameras fully functional.
Should have known. Such a dunce. Has to be a nightmare. Oh! Only nightmare around here, Squirt, is you. Rogue! You're touching my flesh to yours, but you didn't absorb my powers. Give me a break, will you? None of that guff works till the director gives the word. What are you talking about?
Dear girl, you're supposed to be a professional. The least you can do is act the part.
Part? Storm, I'm not acting. It's me. I'm me. Why are the rest of you so different?
Perhaps because we know the difference between roles and reality. Places, cast. X-Men front and center. And action.
Y'all heard the man.
Let's hit it. Hurry along, kitten. You don't want to be left behind.
All of a sudden, everyone's back to normal. And look at me, I can phase. This is sick. How could I dream something so cruel? And why can't I break out of it?
You forget. Dreams are sometimes windows to other realities. Oh, shoot. I forgot to do that.
Oh,
I'm so not used to it. Let's give it a moment for everyone to see the page. And let's also remind everyone that, as Michael puts out here, David, it must be a favorite word of Claremont, referring to Anodyne. The only other time I've heard it is in the X-Men Alpha Flight team up. It's Madeline Pryor's code name is Anodyne, and she's a healer. David says, right. Thank you, Michael. There is a great album by the band Uncle Tupelo.
That's right.
Called Anodyne. Before Uncle Tupelo reforms as Wilco in
and Sunvolt, right?
Ish.
They break into two.
They do, but everyone who is in that band, other than
Jay Farrar
or Farrar or whatever it's pronounced, everyone other than Jay goes on to form Wilco.
Right.
And he goes off to create Sunvolt.
Sunvolt, yeah.
And everyone was in the media at the time was all writing about how Sunvolt's going to be amazing. No one's going to ever hear Wilco again or Jeff Tweedy. And that's kind of fun. But if you want to check out a good record, Anodyne is a beautiful, beautiful record. And especially if you dig that early Wilco sound, you get a lot of good ones off that. So it's a beauty. Anodyne. I also love that pose with the fifth panel with all the X-Men kind of breaking into action. So cool. Or whoever they are. And waking doesn't always make things better.
Rachel, I don't understand. This has to be a dream, only it feels so real. And the X-Men, more puppets than people. Travesties of the heroes I remember.
When the reality no longer exists, exploiters can take the legend and make it whatever they want, good or bad. There's that reference to like them being legends.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder when Claremont kind of came upon that thought, because this wasn't written, this was written probably well before that last issue we read or the 2 issues ago. Mm-hmm. Rachel, you're not in this production. You had your chance at stardom, baby Phoenix, and blew it. When your teammates needed you most, you ran out on them. And we referenced that in our preamble, how she was gutted by Wolverine, held herself together with her own telekinetics, and was basically a portal was opened up into what we can now assume is like the Mojo world, where she was at the Body Shop, which is where like
That's
Spiral also rebuilt Lady Deathstrike. So there's some weird narrative that has to happen between this and that I don't know if we'll ever really learn about. My mistake, my shame. But now I have a chance to make amends. Not so fast, young lady. Nobody leaves without my permission. You can't hold me. Care to bet your life on that?
Stop it, Professor. X-Men, you're tearing her apart. She's our friend. If she stays or goes, it should be by her free choice. It's wrong to force her, and I won't let you. If I can reach Rachel, touch her, my power should phase her through her chains.
Bless you, Kitty, be seeing you, maybe sooner than you think. Like the scope of her powers here look incredible.
Yeah, the Phoenix,
is awesome. Her face looks cool. It doesn't look rendered half. It looks like it's been figured out how to do all the lines. It all kind of connects in that, like her face paint is done in color hold as opposed to ink lines in black. And even like the feathers above the bridge of her nose, those lines kind of work. And power shooting out her eyes, like the whole thing, the ensemble really works in this.
And it feels so. This particular and coloring, did she have the Red Hound's costume in the X-Men series?
Yeah, yes, a couple times.
Okay.
But it was only like in her Nightmare, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, buddy, it's official. Toronto, Ottawa, round 1.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
Sorry, folks. Sports.
Very exciting for us. We're
Always
all very
excited
much
for
looking
playoffs.
forward to the Leafs playoffs, which starts this weekend. David says, I think he was reading Moore's Captain Britain stuff and itching to write something like that. A lot bleeds into the X books. Yeah, definitely. I think the way that Moore wrote in what is, I guess, perceived as a sophisticated way. You know, Claremont, we've talked about before, he was writing Captain Britain before anyway for Marvel UK. So he's invested in the character. And I think seeing, like you're saying, like what Moore did, well, let's elevate that. And Davis did penciling in the Alan Moore stuff too. So there's the bar has been raised. If you think Moore's writing is good, which, you know, it is. It's objectively, you know, some good comic book writing for sure. That young lady was very naughty.
Sure seemed like a great idea at the time.
And I'm sure you know what happens to naughty little girls. Werewolves! Manifest yourselves and teach the brat a lesson.
No! The wall. I'm solid again. I can't phase. Can't escape. X-Men. All monsters. No, keep away. No! Don't. No! Please, no!
Chris, can you make the noise that you think would be happening as a werewolf comes out your mouth? I regret my request that you would make that noise.
Well, it's now caught forever on YouTube, so there you go.
I love the way these werewolves look coming out.
It's so grotesque and it so works.
Yeah, he's such a good cartoonist.
Yeah.
I've often heard it said that cartoonists are problem solvers. Like that's part of the job. Sort of like, how do you do this? Well, let's solve that problem. How do you do that? Well, let's solve that problem. So how do you draw, you know, famous superheroes as if they are but skin sacks over top of, you know, aluminum sheened fantasy wolves? Like, I don't even know what to call these things. Who knows?
So gross.
David
Well,
says,
the emergence is so gross.
yes. I say it secretly because I think he wanted to write that instead of X-Men, but knew it wouldn't sell as well, so he couldn't give up his spot on that. But that's just me talking. Yeah, well, who knows? We should just ask him. He likes to talk. I also love the way that the team of artists, including Glennis Oliver, create a reflective surface on these werewolves.
Agreed.
I did not look up to see if they had ever appeared anywhere before this, so I just don't know. I should have.
Werewolves?
Werewolves. Are you looking it up?
I am.
Instead of reading your part?
Werewolf database. Let's see. First appearance, Excalibur Special Edition, which I think is this.
You got it.
There you go. Oh, and they have members. They got names.
Don't spoil.
The names are terrible.
Okay, read.
Hey, here we
Please.
go. No, please don't bite, hurt. Bedroom? Me? No, I'm back on Weird Isle, where I belong. But if that was a dream, then reality is still the same awful. In the sunrise, the Phoenix effect? Now, what the heck does that mean? Freaky afterimage of a very freaky dream, or harbinger of something worse? Rachel disappeared months ago. Haven't even thought of her in ages. Feels pretty lousy about that. Feel lousier about my dream. Am I really so perverso inside as to imagine my dearest friends as slaves? Are one of the team's most disgusting foes? Am I so angry, resentful that they're gone? Or is it because I got left behind? Hi, Lockheed. How's my best dragon? How's about a scratch, cutums, in your favorite spot? Between your shoulder, blast and darnation. Forgot. I'm not normal anymore, even for an X-Man. My natural state is to be phased. as physically intangible as a ghost. To become solid, I have to concentrate hard as I can. Hooray. It won't last long. What a mess. Oh, golly, I remember. I fell asleep with these pictures in my arms. Me and Professor Xavier when I just joined the school. And a team shot. Right before everything fell apart. Now he's gone away across the universe. Probably never to return. And the X-Men are dead.
Okay, the costume Rachel has on there is like the one that Arthur Adams drew in that issue when they go
Right.
to Asgard. And she doesn't really get to wear it exactly like that. I don't think ever again in those comics. I love that outfit for her. You know, and then the Hound thing is like the Nightmare version. But very cool. And that X-Men team is, you know, I've said before, it's kind of, I guess, my favorite. Whether Phoenix is there or not doesn't make a difference, but the other bunch that are there, that's my favorite X-Men team of all time, that grouping.
Oh, yeah?
And so cool. Yeah, I love those guys. The face in panel 3 that he draws.
Yeah.
Come on, man. It's he's playing another game. Like he knows how to bring references in and not have his work look overly referenced. Like Kitty looks like his Kitty the whole time. You know, we're not getting a crazy grown-up face sometimes and then like a little child face sometimes. It just, she stays on his model really, really well.
Yeah, that's true.
And that her anger there is fantastic. Really, really good. Such a good artist. The Celtic Sea, off the west coast of England. She'd been swimming alone when the pod popped up and asked her to play. The dolphin's natural exuberance was too infectious to be denied. She knew next to nothing of the sea, so they delighted in teaching her its wonders and mysteries. She was having so much fun. She lost all track of time until I do Meggan, you do Captain Britain. Is that what we're?
Yeah, I think so. We do it. Yeah.
Oh, dude, everyone's in for a treat. A bird of fire, heralding the sunrise. How beautiful! Have I been away so long? Farewell, Finn friends. See you again soon, I hope. Until then, stay well. And O'Brien will be worried. Please let him not be angry. Her name is Meggan, and she is as much a creature of the earth as of man. In olden days, she'd be called one of the fairy folk. So you mentioned before, but what is she, you know?
Right.
And this isn't the first time that there are characters in Marvel that, you know, bridge where mutants are sort of like the answer to what would have once been thought of as something else.
Sure.
So in the olden days, she would have been, thought of as fairy folk. Actually, though, she's a mutant. Home, darling, dearest, did you miss me?
Oh.
Living room torn apart. A battle. But upstairs was untouched, the lighthouse undamaged, no sign of intruders. Not an attack, then. Something worse. We get like a whole array of really cute photos. Again, amazingly drawn. You get one of Betsy and Brian as kids. Her, you know, posing like a little model and him being a little bashful. You get one of Brian scrawny as he's graduating, let's just say, I don't know, private school, like high school kind of thing, or maybe even university. And then you get on Chic magazine, Britain's most beautiful.
Are you still getting Chic monthly?
Oh, dude, my subscription is like till at least 2031. And then we get a photo of her with the X-Men. Wolverine's even cracking a beer in the back. It says, Psylocke joins the X-Men, big brother. Wish me luck. And a couple of it, like a Vogue and I guess a Woman. Or it could be Oman. But I'm going to assume it's Woman magazine. So we get the idea, like Psylocke as the fashion model.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, fun.
Which I actually didn't know about until this panel. I didn't realize that.
We did mention it before that she
Okay.
was both a glamour like model when we first met her, way back when we were reading some X-Men stuff.
Gotcha.
Pictures. of Brian's twin sister Betsy, all strewn about. The telly?
To recap the latest news from America, the mutant super team known as X-Men have been slain in Dallas, Texas.
No! Oh no! It can't be true.
Among the fatalities, an English mutant known by the code identity Psylocke.
Oh, Brian, my poor sweet love. This is terrible.
Nah. It comes with the costume, don't you know?
Smell, drink, so strong, makes me ill.
Look at me, Meg. Captain Britain, some hero. Couldn't even save my own sister.
Betsy and the X-Men were half a world away. How could you have possibly known she was in danger?
That's the point. What the blazes use am I if I don't know such things?
Brian, she was a grown woman. She chose her life. She's responsible for her decisions and her deeds. You're not to blame.
The devil, you say? Changeling cow. What do you know about anything? You never had family, never lost anyone you cared for. Go away, Meggan. I don't want your sympathy. I only want to be left alone.
What an asshole.
What a dick.
I would love it if one day someone called me a changeling cow.
You know what, buddy? Next time we hang out.
But onto the art. I find like the face where he like the reveal face is a bit much, and
Right.
also the print is sort of smudgy. I find with a few times in this issue gets like a bit of a warping effect that reminds me of when I scanned something that didn't come out right. There's probably some sliding happening between the color and the black and white, or maybe something in the print, but it's in the PDF version as well.
Mm-hmm.
But although the face is a little weird, Brian's anatomy is phenomenal in his lounge pose. But like that throwing of the helmet, throwing of the bottle,
Yeah.
just like how lively, making the
Yeah.
hair all just pop up like a lion's mane, and yeah, amazing.
And that's a good looking costume too, right? Like that's the other thing. Like,
People are
I'm a
gonna
fan. I'm a fan.
have their preferences. I think it's awesome.
Yeah.
Obviously, the X logo in it
Yeah.
matches with the Union Jack so well. The knee-high boots with that,
Right.
I guess that extended cuff at the top. I think it's very commanding and powerful. The giant like white legs and crotch is maybe a bit much, but
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah. Yeah.
The Marvel Legends bucket was put on is a little not in Alan Davis proportions. He's really thick and doesn't have as tapered a waist, or he's not as long-legged as this version.
Right.
This one is truly a triangle. He's amazing. But yeah, I'm so grateful to have that figure anyway. Weird because it came in like a 3-pack with Kitty Pryde.
Yeah.
Of course, him in this.
Kitty Pryde in this blue costume.
Yeah, it comes with this version of Kitty Pryde, this version of Captain Britain, the swap outable head with the beard, and then a different version of Meggan in a green outfit.
Wait, so different version of Meggan. Oh, I see.
Yeah, and it never worked out that way. Captain Britain changes costumes when she changes her costume.
Okay.
But so be it. That's just what happened, and so I do have a Meggan action figure, but not in the orange onesie or whatever this is.
Right.
I'm sorry, Brian. I didn't mean to make you cross. I'm always saying the wrong thing and doing worse. No, you're not. You're fine. But it isn't true what you said. I do care. I do understand. See that awesome helmet he has, or she has, over in the side?
Yeah.
And a cornucopia of fruit.
That's right.
At least I hope that's
And they
right.
live in a lighthouse.
They do, and they have a giant. They have the round bed from Superman 2.
And Austin Powers.
Most definitely that one. Yes. Betsy was gentle and kind to me. She was your sister, but my friend. I miss her too. Maybe, though, it's you who do not care anymore about me. Have I been fooling myself all these months, thinking you loved me? I couldn't bear that hurt. I'd rather be dead. Stop it, silly girl. He's lashing out because he's in pain, same as you used to be. He got you past that awful time. Now it's your turn to return the favor. Hope this note looks right. So blessed hard to put speaky words on paper. But I can't face him. Not while he's in such a state. Not till I know what to do. Can't manage on my own either. Only one place to go for proper advice. If you can't see, in her drawing, she drew the lighthouse. She put the words Meggan go.
Mhm.
And then there's a house with an X on top of it. With a cat and a heart.
Oh.
So Meggan go kitty house, I guess.
Yes.
I get it. I know what she's doing. I like, again, the cartooning of her, standing on the desk, her little toes out, and, her tongue sticking out as she's trying to write.
Yeah, and those, panel, 3 and 4 of the kind of sad face to the beautiful face. It's great. It's a great. There's just two, you can draw both. Draw both so easily, or at least seems so accomplished.
Obviously, this character has a couple layers to her, and
Sure.
the way that she's not just a changeling, but there's sort of an emotional element to the way she changes.
Right.
Of course, I can't help but think that she might be a little bit emotionally compromised to be in a consensual relationship.
Sure.
So I'm a little concerned. But again, I know that's not how this is intended to be read, but I can't help but see it that way from 2025. We're probably even in 1988.
1988.
I was like, she's a little special. We gotta maybe you shouldn't be romantic. Give her some time. Let her acclimate to Brian's world a little longer. Muir Isle, the gymnasium, fun and games.
How about the foul recreants? Numberless you may be, you're still no match for one with heart and soul of a true musketeer. Ah, noble D'Artagnan, valiant Cyrano, Scaramouche, and Captain Blood. If you could but see me now! Dumb. Teleported instinctively, so dumb. When I got hit, bad move. Feel so weak. Like all I want to do is lie down and die. I may get my wish. Where are your quips now, swashbuckler? Get up, get up. All you need do is save yourself, is reach that control pad. Eh? System short-circuiting. It's Kitty facing through the wall. Nightcrawler? Ah, crumbs.
Clang.
Bless you, Catchson. You okay, Nightcrawler? Yeah, thanks to your timely intervention. Great. Then you mind telling me what the heck you think you're playing at here? Testing myself.
By the way, it's so great to see swashbuckling Nightcrawler.
Yeah, nice to see him, and of course, nice to
and lean into it, lean into the swords, lean into the musketeers, the Cyrano, de Bergerac. It's great.
Yeah. Michael says the Captain Britain Meggan relationship always gave me more icks than the Colossus Kitty relationship,
and that one has icks. Yeah,
I hear ya.
A full bore combat exercise with the safety interlocks disconnected so soon after your release from Moyer's hospital. Are you crazy? Lucky for you, the backup alarm sounded in the house the minute you started.
I had to learn, Kitty. If I had lost my edge.
Doesn't it matter if in the process you lose your life? What gives, Kurt? You feel left out because the rest of the X-Men got killed and we didn't? You figure on this being the perfect way to catch up to him?
You have no right to say such things.
You haven't the right to give me a cause.
Yeah, I know, I'm sorry. When I awoke from my coma, I was so happy to be alive. The occasion you cannot imagine. All I remembered was the pain of being wounded, and the next thing I knew, I was here in Moira McTaggart's mutant research facility. It was months later. I thought I've had a taste of death, but I survived. I beat the Reaper. My time will come, but not today. I wanted to share that joy with those I loved best. You and Peter and Logan and Aurora with all the X-Men, only I couldn't because they were dead. I know you feel, Kurt. And then last night, I had this dream. I've never...
She says,
Oh. Say what?
just before we turn the page,
Yeah,
the
Derek.
cartooning thing, I adore the 3-panel, the triptych that's there in the second tier, where the characters walk down that hallway. Just how effective is like the camera angle, shifting it so they walk out that room. It's just really, really good. Not complicated, completely effective. There are probably, many different ways you could execute, and they could each be successful. I really loved his choices. Not one of the drawings is meant to be connected to the other one. Like literally, the camera moves along with them, kind of as they go. Just nice, really, really smooth.
I never had the like. When it was done, I felt ashamed, almost physically ill. I was in a movie studio with twisted, decadent versions of the X-Men and the cast, and Herr Professor Xavier, our director. And Rachel was there too. Some kind of prisoner, and you helped her escape? Yeah, only I was left behind to behold the X-Men's transformation into monsters. The prof called them werewolves. You also, then? Pretty weird, huh? We both had the same experience. Maybe it wasn't really a dream. Ray's a telepath. Maybe she was trying to send us a message. Question is, why now, after staying out of touch for so long? And what's it all mean? Probably some new and transcendent disaster. That isn't funny. Shouldn't we do something about it? The pair of us, crippled as we are? Just because we've been hurt doesn't mean we stop being X-Men. Crumbs, the door. They got a sight, Kurt. Well, I see who it is.
Not that an American can't do it, or a Canadian, for that matter. But you know how valuable it can be to have some experience in either landscapes or around architecture of a certain kind when it comes to drawing it in a believable way. I don't think we've ever seen like this house on Muir Isle, except for maybe in the New Mutants graphic novel, which I should go back and take a look at. But I feel like this is what a house in Scotland or just in the UK in general would look like. The way that, like, just to include a garden. Most of the American artists don't add that little flourish, but a house like this would probably have a garden that looked something like that. I feel like I've seen Peter Rabbit run through that. You know what I mean?
Oh, totally.
And those little elements just, they make the world a little richer. And, Davis being a Brit, I think it adds something here for sure. That's very cool. Good looking.
Yeah, totally.
May I, or do you want?
Yeah. No.
Did you have someone in mind when you read this?
Not particularly.
So there's
You?
Star Trek, of course.
Oh, okay.
In probably the early 90s, there was this episode of Next Generation where Deanna Troy's character is possessed by an alien, and all they do to demonstrate that, of course, is she acts differently as best she can within the boundaries of the episode, but they do some like augmentation to her voice where it's like an octave deeper, and it's still feminine and still has some of the tactile idiosyncrasies of the way her mouth moves. Like I can still hear it's her. It's not an overdub. It's her voice recording, but augmented. And I always hear that. I hear her when I see this this new character who is outrageous looking and unique.
Totally.
I've never seen anything like this. Salutations, small and youthful sentience.
Snee, 2 paraforms present, mother. No other close enough to interfere.
You couldn't help that guy. you knew that's the voice coming out.
Yeah, it had to be that voice. It's like a Muppet.
Yeah, but there's a certain like part of the throat you go to for that voice. It's so funny. I grow weary of endlessly repeating myself, lizard. Don't call me mother.
Yes, mother.
Hey, if you weren't so infernally useful, I'm Gatecrasher. Would you please inform the master or mistress of this domicile of my presence?
Would you mind taking your hand out of my face?
You terrestrial paraforms come in such stimulatingly spirited variety. It never fails to amaze me.
Look, Gatecrasher, I hate to disappoint you, but Dr. McTaggart, this is her house and her island. She's away right now. If you'd care to leave a number or address.
Regrettably, dear girl, time oppresses and delays cannot be countenanced.
Snee, mother, intruder, imminently arriving.
Hello, Kitty.
Who? Meggan, Captain Britain's girlfriend. She certainly knows how to make an entrance.
Yeah, I love the way, like, I feel her coming beneath,
Right. Yeah.
you know, the frame of that door, just like because of the tail of her
Totally.
hair fire.
Hair fire, yeah.
Yeah, that's great. Like she almost dances into the room.
Yeah, totally.
Like
It's
a
very
stage.
it's very elegant.
Yeah. She must be a fun character to draw.
Yeah.
And it gives you opportunities as a writer and as an artist to like try things to kind of enhance the way the story is being told. You can do all sorts of. She can emote obviously a ton.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, in contrast to a character like Juggernaut or Colossus, who's, you know, or Gatecrasher, who's like a giant brick, but
Right.
she emotes so much. She's like rubbery and fascinating.
This is a great line.
By the way, Katchen, who's Captain Britain?
Like, right? Like, oh yeah, let's introduce this character.
Yeah,
It's quite good.
isn't also Alan Davis the best at drawing Kitty Pryde's hair?
Yeah.
Like, I would love to be able to draw hair like that. I might just have to just copy and just rip him off forever. It's so good. You, the hippopotamus.
You guys know each other? Spectacular.
Salutations, Swanling. You appear as formidably lovely as ever. Whatever you're after, you'd better leave Brian alone. Rest assured, I have absolutely no interest in your dear captain.
So why are you here?
I need to talk with you, Kitty. It's important. Actually, darling, I believe she was addressing me. This psychicom crystal should make everything plain as starlight.
I am Opal Luna Saturn 9.
Hold on, before you go further.
Okay. Oh, right. Sorry. No. Sorry.
No. This character, just so you know, is like femme fatale also.
Okay.
So if you go too far into like matronly British retiree,
Oh,
you might miss, you know, she
Okay,
can.
so she comes back.
Oh, and she's been there before.
Okay.
Yeah, she's trouble, like in all the great movie ways.
Okay.
Yeah, just let you know. Just Chris, I want to feel the sexuality coming
Yeah,
off.
okay.
Off the screen.
Oozing out of my voice. Okay.
No oozing, please.
I am Opal Luna Saturnine,
I'm hard as a rock. There you go.
omniversal magistrix, responsible for the maintenance of order and reality in this sector of creation. Undoubtedly.
The way Nightcrawler even says that,
Yeah.
it's like so much glow.
It
So
is.
much glow.
So much cloud.
Unglaublich. He's like he's saying "va va boom."
Yeah, exactly.
The witch. I never understood what Brian saw in her.
Oh, okay. Boy, I can. Darn it.
You mean Kitty's like, damn.
Damn. Gatecrashers TechNet are my duly authorized agents, responsible for the apprehension of this threat to reality, more commonly known as Phoenix, who is believed to be en route to Sol Third, the planet Earth. I hereby charge and require that the inhabitants thereof, as a sentient species, offer all appropriate assistance in this endeavor. What's she want with Rachel?
Dear girl, Saturnine neglected to take us into her confidence. And, to be honest, one simply doesn't subject the omniversal magistrates to that sort of examination. My responsibility is merely to capture the fugitive and deliver her.
Stinking bounty hunter. I don't know you, blimp.
Are those terms pejorative?
Insults, yeah. And I sure as heck don't know her. But Rachel's an X-Man. And until we know the score, nobody takes her anywhere.
Your loyalty is touching, child. But regrettably in this instance, sadly misplaced.
Where'd this crowd come from? I brought them. Teleporter, that's me.
Hush, you boastful reptile. The Technet, by nature, abhors violence, but if provoked will be happy to indulge in whatever level of physical confrontation you desire. So, let's pause for a moment. Look at this group.
Yeah.
Holy smokes, what's going on? It is, I just want Wolverine to kill them all.
Right.
And just see what they're all made out of and maybe figure out which ones we could eat. Yum, yum, yum. Yeah, they're such a strange looking group. But I feel like we've seen, we are so entrenched in like the Jack Kirby aliens and just staying with X-Men, by the way, like the Dave Cockrum version of aliens.
Right. I was going to say.
And we've been lucky to get some weird Arthur Adams monsters and aliens. Like this is just, it's pulling from a completely different batch of source material, I feel like.
Totally.
The one at the bottom with like in gold, I guess, with human body and that kind of metal head. I'm like, oh, that must be a Doctor Who character kind of to me.
Right.
Because it's not so far off,
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And the floating baby.
Floating baby.
So disturbed.
I think so. To me, this speaks to the British comic tradition up to this point.
I guess.
Like maybe there's some Judge Dredd in here.
Sure.
It kind of is it 2000 AD is the
Got it.
Right. Certainly the Moore stuff. The British Moore stuff. It feels like it. I don't know. It feels like you're right. It feels like it's coming from a different place.
Yeah. Yeah,
right?
You're pulling from different influences,
things
that we haven't seen before, and
totally.
I don't know what to do with it. It's so interesting and funny.
What do I do with this?
Yeah, no, like I said, I just kind of want Wolverine to kill them and then dissect them. We can figure out who we can eat and who we can't. Now, what sauce goes best with which character? I also want to throw back to Saturnine for a second,
sure,
and say that like obviously. In 2025, I look at this and I see Emma Frost.
Yeah, that's the first, right? Yeah.
But in 1987, Emma Frost never looked like this.
No.
We've seen her up to this point in her appearances in X-Men, and she's much more, I hate to say, much more cold. She is, although dressed in provocative garb, like she wasn't near, like her hair wasn't kind of done in this style. She didn't seem to have the posture of this character either, or the physique.
Mm-hmm.
There's just something about, I feel like this gets her visage gets like thrown into the stew that becomes Emma Frost in the 21st century, or
Right.
by the time you get to the Morrison run in some way with Frank Quietly on art, it doesn't feel like he's pulling from like the John Byrne version of her, with her hair parted down the middle and straight on both sides.
Right.
This version is,
And
way
this
more
one still
efficient.
has that kind of femme fatale, as you mentioned, but
Yeah,
also is like fully clothed,
sure, yeah,
or at least fully covered. Right. There's no skin here, right, which is
right.
a big part of the X-Men Emma Frost.
I will also though tease like that's part of the fine line that you can walk
Mm.
when you choose how to color, because the place that gem is positioned,
Yes.
like it's evocative
Sure.
of the sexuality, and then it also looks kind of like her hips are almost partially exposed too, but it's more like a ribbon or a sash, belt of some kind. So like it can do double duty.
Right.
Through design, it can bring forth the idea of thinking about her bare skin without actually doing that, which is again like just good character design work.
Yeah. Totally.
Yeah, so good. It reminds me also of the femme fatales that even like Darwin Cook draws.
Well, it's the hair over the one eye, right?
Right. So when he's drawing
Jessica Rabbit,
spirit,
right?
Like, Jessica Rabbit. There you go. Yeah. All that kind of. Is it Lana Turner? Like, who are the actresses?
Oh, yeah, cool. Yeah,
trying to think,
right.
like, what are the names of those American actresses,
Right.
in like film noir and
no, totally.
40s and 50s. Anyway, but that's the vibe I'm getting, which is great. That baby,
and then there's floating baby,
floating baby,
who
like the way his little feet,
little feet.
It's so upsetting.
It is just, it's so, it's jarring.
I hope he's really, really kind, and I start to feel bad for him, and or that he's awful and they kill him.
Yes.
Veronica Lake, well done. Yeah,
Okay.
Nice.
Okay. Sounds like fighting words to me. Ha! Can't catch, blimp boys, what you can't touch.
Wrong.
Eep.
Admirable work, Scatterbrain. Like, how good is that?
Yeah, right.
Just the mathematics of figuring out how wide each of those things should be, like each of those panels, so that it feels like you're going from one thing into the other as her brain is scattered. Just perfect. And to do the DeLuca effect as she falls over.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Amazing. And that choice also to have her lower Scatterbrain's lower half be a color shift, like so cool.
Mm-hmm.
She looks cool. I like the green hair, everything. And this is so gross.
So gross.
Meanwhile, spray, some sort of transparent membrane, coated all over. Can't move. Powers won't work. Oh no!
It's such a gross. I mean, it does its job where it's just like, whoa, but it's a great little thing here.
And you can see in the throat, like, gulp.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah. So well done.
It is. It's so well done.
It's a very experiential comic.
Yes.
I feel like the textures, the sounds, like they're all very much there, even though none of it is real. It's great. Ladies first. Now, young man, your turn.
Huh. Fick 'em up. You know what that is?
He disappeared. Disappeared he did, Gatecrusher. The teleporter. Lizard, you should have warned me.
Sorry, Mother. No scan sign of him anywhere close by.
Let him go. We've got more important business to attend to. Gather up the phaser, body bag, and we'll keep the girls as bargaining chips, and we'll be on our merry way.
Body bag. What a name.
Yeah. And if you were to tell audiences next issue, body bag, you're thinking of Punisher,
I was gonna say, or like a Liefeld villain.
Sure. All those
It's
kinds
got
of
that
things.
vibe, you know.
But this, yeah, it's neat. Like already we've got now in their first appearance, you kind of have their Imperial Guard to fight forever.
Yes.
Like they can go up against the TechNet now, and I want to see them switch who's fighting who and find solutions, and yeah, just neato. Rachel Summers, falling, cast out, fleeing from heaven. Hades, never sure which, all the same to her. Screaming, cheering, crying, with joy and terror combined, as all the component elements of her being are shattered, spread beyond reality, beyond conception, to the farthest reaches of creation, where space has no meaning and time even less. For that infinite moment, she is all. A moment later, sort of nothing, as transcendence gives way to reality. And before we continue, drawing that explosion of her going between dimensions,
Yeah.
the way it like comes in kind of waves, and it's like liquid and smoke and everything.
Yeah.
Hard to do, hard to conceive of, and hard to execute. Greatly done. I meant to mention before when Kitty Pryde was in her room, I believe, and I didn't say anything about it, but I should have. I should have cut you off right where you were.
You should have.
There was a stuffed animal bunny.
Okay.
And the reason I wanted to bring it up is because, to me, it's one of several allusions to
Alice in Wonderland.
Alice in Wonderland.
Okay.
Yeah, I think there's a couple of those things as we go through this. I'm just trying to see what page. Yeah, it's when she wakes. The no please when she wakes from her dream before she runs out. Yeah, I think that there are a few of those allusions in this issue, and that's one of them. And right away, here is another one.
Interesting.
Oh!
Look at the bunny now.
What's all this then, eh?
This rat with the chainsaw.
Chainsaw gun.
Yeah. There's some pretty weird stuff. There's a lot to look at here. I like the she-devil that's there too.
Yeah, there's some cool. Again, it's coming from a different place, right? But
yep, Frankenstein's monster.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, just weird. Even the cake is really well done.
Yeah, and her spoiling it totally, like her kind of in the middle of it, right?
Yeah,
totally.
Appeared midair.
Flash of light.
How is she?
How should I know?
Sprayed gunk all over the place.
Covered in it.
Lunacy.
My gown's ruined.
No great loss.
What a looker!
Cute costume.
Too rough trade.
What does that mean?
I don't know.
What is it? Young tearaway.
Ought to be ashamed. Well, rough trade is, because is a band from Toronto, Ontario.
Okay,
With a hit song called "High School Confidential." Okay, but the actual, like the saying of it, right?
is it implying that? I mean,
Bit of a rough trade meeting. Here you go. It's gay slang. Rough or tough men who are available as casual sexual partners for other men.
okay, thanks. Yeah,
So there you
go.
There you go. Oh. High school confidential.
How's that Thor costume?
How's that? Thor is looking not great. But see, that would be because of the leather and that kind of stuff, right?
Sure.
That's,
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah, that's how I'm reading it too.
yeah.
And of course, you got your kind of Western man with no poncho and
Yeah.
It's fun stuff. Disoriented, too many thoughts, can't sort them out. This is a stage set. Could it be that I haven't escaped at all? Was the pain for nothing? Am I back where I started?
Got an invite, love. Can't crash our gala without one.
I've got nothing to do with your party.
Hear that?
Popped out of nowhere, I tell you.
She a mutie then.
Sure looks the part.
She's making a break.
Grammar,
Got a cuppa, someone.
let me go.
Sorry, love. Nobody leaves without permission.
You can't hold me.
I can't bet on that.
Stop struggling, girl. That's a woman. Sorry.
No, that's her voice.
Go on.
We don't want to hurt you.
Then let me leave.
Everyone, for pity's sake, look.
And you get some more costumes, like you can kind of see there.
Yes.
Of course, the Hunchback we didn't mention before. There's like
There's
big
like a
Sasquatch.
Caesar.
Yeah, and there's Caesar at the bottom. There's like a Cheshire Cat looking guy.
Yeah, like a Sasquatchy guy.
Yeah.
A clown.
Jeez. Yeah. Obviously, the Mummy is there.
Mummy.
Fun stuff.
And then you get this.
Boom. So weird.
So weird. But, I mean,
I
cool.
love it. Yeah.
But weird.
We get a box or two there and a neat kind of dragon thing. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
These werewolves are just a great page. You know what the coloring on this page reminds me of? Killing Joke.
Oh.
Just in that the use of and Watchmen both now that
Watchmen, yeah, I can see that for
like
sure.
the use of yellows and oranges as
Right.
a solid color for all the characters in the foreground. Like that's not a really common approach, but it looks great. Werewolves. Mojo sent them after me, but following and catching are they're immune to my telekinesis. Can't get a firm grip on them. Okay, how do you problem solve? How do you draw a character demonstrating that they are immune to telekinesis? Like that.
Right.
You draw it bouncing off of them, like going past them.
Mm-hmm.
Like they're cutting through a current or an airstream.
Mm-hmm.
Like they're Teflon covered and you know the telekinesis doesn't work. That is such an effective way to deliver that meaning. Let's take a look at all the food on that table.
And we get this is the connection too to Rachel going off to the body shop or the Mojo world that we saw when we last saw her, right?
Right. So
Mojo sent them after me.
Hopefully we'll learn a little more.
Right.
So have you thought at all about the voices of these things?
Oh God, no. I haven't.
Do you think they're British or do you think they're? I mean, obviously, forget it. They're not actually from anywhere. But do you want them to be Brit villains or American villains or? I mean,
They can just be
hosers.
I think right. Yeah, bunch of hosers. Eh? Hey, jokes on you, ha ha ho ho. Hey, baby Phoenix.
I imagine that they're British. What about you?
Sure.
Are they all Jason Statham?
They're all versions of Jason Statham.
It allows you and I both to do just different Jason Stathams.
Just different Jason Stathams. Yeah, that's true. I'm up with that. Up for that.
All right.
Joke's on you, ha ha ho ho. Hey, baby Phoenix.
Hey, Bowser. Just because my mind powers can't clobber you directly, there's no reason I can't use every other object in this room to do the job for me. I may just be a baby Phoenix, but that makes me more than a match for the likes of... Yeah!
Can't soon be everywhere at once, falling star. Such a shame.
And you, Warwolf, haven't the slightest notion of what you're up against. Your master used to use these chains to bind me. I was on such a roll there, and yeah, like that look that she gives as she turns around, like this is the character I want in this book.
Yeah,
like just she has a limit, and when you cross it with her,
totally,
she's gonna tear you apart or whatever. Like it's so good. Only fair they serve the same purpose for you. Don't bother struggling. You won't have time. What? I like how she also has like a demon voice.
Yeah. It's like when we did the Phoenix entity back in the day.
It definitely was really, really good, and everyone should look that up.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wall. Hole! A way out! Great! But what's the point of running if this is just a soundstage of Mojo's studio? Coming soon, National Lampoon's Animal House. A Michael Caine movie.
Michael Caine.
Michael Caine.
Michael Caine. There you go. A werewolf can be Michael Caine.
So there we also see it's the Masquerade fancy dress benefit. Are you then reading into that it's an AIDS benefit?
Oh, I didn't even think of that.
Or is it Masquerade? Because otherwise it would be masquerades.
Like Live Aid?
Like Live Aid. So it just maybe aiding somebody for something.
Yeah.
Masquerade. I wonder. It would explain the rough trade comment.
Sure would.
Kinfolk. Pray fleas. Follow we must.
Daddy, are they real?
Officer, do something.
No, I'm open to suggestions, sir.
Okay, this is the coolest shit right here now.
Okay.
Take a look there in panel 3.
Yes.
I see Death from Sandman.
Oh, yeah.
And I see the smiley face from Watchmen.
Yeah, that's right.
Now, I wonder, there's one I can't tell who it is, though, but, that's awesome.
That's very cool.
That's awesome. London's getting totally weird, man.
God, lummy, what ugly dogs!
Find her we shall, no matter how fast she runs. Dude,
What?
do you recognize that?
How
That
fast?
underground?
Is that our... Oh, that's our underground. 100% with the bank behind it?
I had no idea that
Oh,
was
my
there.
goodness.
So, long
Hey,
story
everybody.
short, long story short, we wrote this story. We made this story called Peregrine's Londinium. And one of the plot devices was, and we really should maybe one day just do a side story of just that. Of them breaking into the bank.
Yeah.
But a couple peregrines needed to use a telephone in 1917 London. And the only place they could think of in an emergency to find that phone was in the middle of the night, was in that bank behind the underground station. And so they supposedly broke into that station, used the phone to place a call to an air base.
That's right.
Further away, and then call for reinforcements. And they went down those very steps.
That's right.
Onto those very tracks, and had a whole adventure underneath London.
Yeah, that's Bank Station.
Bank Station, in the ruins of former Roman colony of Londinium. Anyway, that's funny. I totally didn't know we were going to come there.
Woo! It was meant to be.
Meant to be. But that's what you get when you have a real Londoner, or someone at least who's been to London working on this, instead of this poor schmo here in Richmond Hill. We shall find her, we shall, no matter how fast she runs or where she tries to hide. 100 feet below.
That's Rachel, I think, maybe?
Yeah, I guess. Gangway!
Hey, trash mind your manners. Quit shoving.
Sorry to be rude, but it's really important. I get aboard this train.
Phoenix, escape you shall not.
I've noticed
Unethical behaviour, this is. Under contract, you there. Master Mojo, who made you Star of Stars.
I was his slave.
Signed on dotted line for life.
I was forced.
So sue.
The voice does not match the energy.
It's so funny. You don't understand, Warwolf. I'm free. And no one's ever going to cage me again.
Oh, fiddlesticks.
Again, talking about artists making use of how to render her power. Like, this is awesome.
Yeah, it is.
As she blows up the back of that tube train. So
Yeah.
good.
The Michael Caine werewolf is dead now.
Spoiler. I'll always miss him. So I would love.
He was
now,
the gentlest of the werewolves.
I would love a set that has like Rachel in one of the Phoenix kind of outfits.
Yeah.
And a couple of werewolves, maybe.
Sure.
I don't know how you can
Yeah.
treat like a pack of werewolves, but I would. Anyway, my only regret, Bowser, is that it was you I fried, and not your bloat of a boss. Someday, though, I swear it'll be his turn. Huh? Thoughts?
See her? What she did?
Monster!
Lord have mercy.
Hurt us? Hate her!
Muty. Wish I could.
Smash her! Did that.
Run away.
They're so afraid of me. With good reason. As Rachel struggles to explain, failing with every word.
Gatecrasher, see. An awful noise.
Give it no mind, lizard. Merely poor dumb beasties, venting their grief.
I sense the Star Child.
Splendid. We've spent quite long enough in this pathetically primitive orb already. I said in, I meant on. So they came looking for Dr. McTaggart.
Yeah.
Now they know who the Star Child is.
The Star Child. They're looking for David Bowie.
Of course.
Ground control.
Meanwhile, back at a certain lighthouse.
What a mess. And the stench is worse. Even Wolverine's binges were never as bad as this. What you need, Herr Capitan, is a bath.
That's
And
kind of
this-
murder, right? That's murder.
I mean, I think
Attempted murder.
Yeah, And if perchance you should fail to resurface, well, based on what I've just seen, no great loss.
However,
I love Kurt. By all the sainted devils, someone tried to kill me. Hardly. You're doing well enough on that core score by yourself. Nightcrawler? What's the meaning of this? Simple. I need you awake and sober, and I'm not in a mood to be polite about it. That's the explanation. If you wish for an apology, Herr Braddock, earn it.
over coffee. Oh, that sounds good. Nightcrawler relates the day's events.
By the time I returned to the house after teleporting away, Gatecrasher was long gone. With both Kitty and your Fraulein Meggan, I dug up our file on you and spent the rest of today getting here. I cannot take on the TechNet alone. I need your help. Quite right. Very sensible. Get on it directly. To be honest, though, I'm wondering if I made a mistake. What is wrong with you, man? Friends are in danger. Among them, the girl that you supposedly love. Doesn't that matter? Don't you care? Of course I do. It's just... what's the point? Save them now to watch them sacrifice themselves later. We're supposed to be heroes, but we never really make things better. We have no lasting effect on people or the world. The devil, you say? When I say I'm a hero, I need it in jest. I haven't the right to truly call myself one, and you have even less. All I am is a man, trying to live life as best he knows how, and to be true to what he was taught. Those beliefs got my sister killed. Yeah, and my dearest friends with her, my family. My God, sometimes all I yearn for more than anything is to have been given a chance, the privilege
of standing with the X-Men and sharing their fate. It isn't fair they're dead. It's far worse that I remain alive to grieve for them, because it's more pain than I can endure. But I am alive, Braddock. And I must remain true to myself as to their memory. If that is more than you can handle, Captain Britain, I am sorry to have troubled you. You don't understand. You don't know what it's like to actually die. No, perhaps not. But do you, Herr Braddock, even have the slightest idea what it's like to truly live? Oh, wait!
Memories.
You blue-furred goblin! You've no right to judge me.
Lying broken and bloody, more ragdoll than man, watching the executioner's hand rise, the gun flash, so afraid. And then, waking up, reborn, whole, but never healed, knowing death must come again, haunted by the certainty that this time will truly be the end, terrified by the fear that it won't.
Ooh.
So I guess we're to understand that Captain Britain has died and was reborn.
I guess that's what, yeah. That's what.
Totally cool.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. On board. On board.
This is in London, in case you didn't read the sign.
Back in London.
Actually, it's not a sign. I do think it's meant to be read aloud, but it's just done cheekily along with the wall. And like in that perspective. Scrounge some clothes to call my own. Question is, do I have a place to go with them? I'm the prodigal girl who ran out on the X-Men when they needed her most. I betrayed their trust. Serve me right if they slam the door in my face. No sense no sense moping lost and lonely, sob sorry for myself. The X-Men are my family. I have nowhere else to... Before we move on, just to note what's there, obviously she's gone past a fantasy fair. I guess the name of the shop, perhaps. There's a poster for Excalibur.
Mm-hmm.
There is like a statue or like a, I don't know, an Excalibur sword in the stone. Knights of the Round Table.
Yeah.
Like those are books, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
Once and Future King, Camelot 3000, Mallory's Mort.
Definitely.
Arthur, yeah. Neat.
Mm.
And one of these panels does not look like it was done by the same team to me. That one on the bottom looks like it's a different inker. It reminds me of Joe Rubenstein. I don't know why. But anyway, moving on. Okay, so I have nowhere else to... You've run us quite a race, naughty star child, but it's over. Body bag, do the honors. No! Neural toxin instantaneously inhibits the synapses, so nothing voluntary works. Breathing's okay, heartbeat too, all the autonomic stuff, but the mind goes fugue blank. The body reduced to a sack of meal. Ew. To be folded in any which way, no problem. Goes down smooth and easy. A sack of meal.
Jeez.
Very descriptive. Its knees start to buckle.
Yeah.
Right, with 3 in there.
3, right?
So good. Reached your limit, poor thing. Not to worry. Now that we have our prize, we can dispense with the other 2. And no, that does not mean dinner. We'll leave them here. Ah, my pets. I do so love it when a caper comes together.
The 18. Mother. Trouble.
So she says dispense with the other 2, and she puts up one big finger.
Yeah.
Almost. Yeah, it's
we're
funny.
making the point, like good Kate, like almost wagging it, kind of,
Yeah, maybe. Blix! Excuse me, sentience, but you are interfering with duly authorized representatives. Oh, bother. I never should have kept Pharaoh on the payroll after his warranty expired. Well, that guy's dead.
That guy's dead.
Stupid beast. Have you the slightest notion how infernally difficult it is to find good help?
Ow!
And she just stomps like
Yeah.
that guy's head. Holy. I love how she has
Right
completely flat feet.
Yeah, exactly.
What a sight. Almost ashamed to interfere. But the prisoners might get hurt in the crossfire. Nice thing about Rachel. She's broad, casts such a powerful and distinctive...
No, she's not
He
a broad.
broadcasts. Sorry.
She's broad. She's broad. She's wide. She broadcasts such a powerful and distinctive biopattern that the portable cerebral sensor pack I brought with me from where Io led me right to her. Figured Great Crusher would catch up sooner or later. Pity I didn't have a chance to warn Rachel, but this is my chance to make amends. Sweet dreams, body bag. Nasty doggy. You'll have to do far better than this, you know. To beat me. Perfect.
So gross.
It is so gross.
I could look at Nightcrawler dancing his way through combat like all day long with a good artist like this.
Oh, yeah.
Meggan and Kitty are totally limp. Those cocoons must contain some narcotic to keep Bodybag's captives tractable. But Rachel's mostly conscious. Phoenix, I need a hand.
Nightcrawler, werewolves, immune to my psi powers.
Oh, wunderbar, marvelous. Just what I needed to hear.
Not to worry, you hairy goblin. You needn't fear those beasts tearing you limb from limb. That pleasure I reserve for myself.
I strongly suggest, Gatecrasher, that you restrain yourself and reconsider this particular operation, or your answer to me.
You forget, my dear captain, the Technet has seen you in action.
Is he hovering there?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so he can hover, he can fly? I actually don't know. I know he's strong and stuff and invulnerable, but...
Oh, he can fly.
Okay. He can fly. He can fly. All right.
Is this the Stathamiest of Statham characters?
Yeah, it's got to be.
All right.
You want to go for it?
No. You own it.
And by croaky by gum, will not be impressed. Of all the pretentious, posturing, imbecile twits, let myself be blindsided like a novice. Ain't shame in pain, good captain. Hold thy pose then, so Thug can cast thee speedily from thy misery.
Oh, Thug.
Oh, Thug.
The Star Child's on her feet. Clip her wings, Ring Toss, before she soars away. I'm through running, Gatecrasher, and I won't be taken again. Not by the werewolves, and not by... Ouch!
Energy bands holding her fast. I feel so funky. Maybe I can disrupt him or phase ray free?
I like the noise of those ring bands. They go... Whoa, 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 whoa.
Whoa.
But as Kitty lunges forward... Rex! Joy Boy takes her fondest desire to be solid once more and makes it rude reality. Rooty!
Joy Boy?
Joy Boy is the new hit character of 1987. Joy Boy.
Maybe you get that 3-pack with the Werewolves and Joy Boy.
I actually want Body Bag,
Yeah.
Joy Boy,
Yeah.
and I mean Thug is. He also has those flat leg thingies, and maybe Joy Boy is awesome. And look at Kitty. This is weird because
It's very weird.
yeah.
Beasties, so sleek and shiny. Love the way light splashes on silver skin. They don't approve our taking Phoenix. Naughty, naughty, she's our prize. As you become mine. But too big and wriggly you are. So China Doll will shrink you to a prettier size.
Yipe.
Wear you I shall, as a glitter bangle. Feels so slimy, inside and out. Poor head aches. Brian! In trouble. I'll help you, my oh!
This is Waxworks. The merest touch, and the body loses all firmness.
Meggan!
So decent a man, so easily, fatally distracted by concern for those he cares about, a momentary thing that Scatterbrain turns into an eternity.
Cool.
As her caress fires all his neural synapses at once.
We're being slaughtered. Hardly surprising, I suppose. The opposition are functioning as teams. We aren't. Time for that to change. There we go. Dog's body into ring toss, and the pair of them into Mr. Tentacle's potato head. I fall down. Hopefully now before they untangle themselves and recover.
Energy rings are fading. I'm loose. I can act. Say goodnight, baby cakes.
Joy Boy, no!
We love you. Come back, Joy Boy.
Come back, Joy Boy.
Oh, poor kitty. I love Nightcrawler when as the way that his feet are drawn as he kicks the werewolf, or as he lifts it. Actually, his feet are like to the side to get a good grip. Like his thumbs are, his back, toe, feet, thumb kind of thing is getting a good grip on his tummy of the werewolf to send it on its way.
Mr. Tentacle's potato head.
Yeah, he's not wrong.
No.
That's the spirit. The tide's turning. Here, Dollface, work your miniaturizer magic on your boss. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. Slithering buffoon, see what you've done to me.
That's nothing, blimp.
Huh?
Compared to what I'm gonna do. Taking all my concentration to stay solid. A bottle hurt tomorrow from the strain, but boy, is this worth it.
You!
Hit you hard as I could. Care for an encore.
Yep, enough. Away.
They're vanishing.
Teleporting.
Good riddance.
Then we won. The werewolves?
Gone as well. Preferring discretion, the better part of valor. To lick wounds, mourn lost comrades, regain strength, and plan for another chase. A happier day.
There's a little one there.
Yeah. One has a smashed in nose.
Yeah. One is like recovering its body mass.
Yeah. Nice.
Nice.
Meggan, I was so afraid for you. I knew you'd save the day.
Okay, Katsum. Fine, considering all the bad guys got away.
One thing about us X-Men types, you can always tell where we've been. If not from the mess, then from the faces of the innocent bystanders. Caught in the crossfire, whose homes and lives have all been wrecked.
It says, and yet, did you?
Oh, and yet, sorry,
Rachel, is it really you?
genital warts and all. Sorry. Warts and all. Come on, Mojo.
I know, right?
Right? She's a slave. Give me a break, right? A bit worse for wear, I'm afraid.
We believed you dead.
You forget, Fuzzy Elf. I'm Phoenix. If I die, it's only to be reborn. Hopefully, better and brighter than before. Another night. After the mess in London has been tidied up and explanations made to the appropriate authorities, atop the Scots Highlands.
That's Kitty, right? Yeah. So Professor Xavier spends weeks programming the danger room for my trial session, and I walk right through it untouched with my eyes closed.
This is Nightcrawler now.
Yeah.
Wolverine challenged me to walk down the main street of Salem Center undisguised in my natural shape.
Oh, Nightcrawler, I give anything to have seen that.
It was an experience. Those were the days.
Your turn, Rachel. Any memories of the X-Men you'd care to share?
Not the kind you mean, Kitty. Not the kind I can trust. Facts in my head, they're so jumbled up. I don't know anymore what's real and what isn't, what actually happened, and what's a lie. David says, you can certainly tell where the Exy boys have been from the faces of innocent bystanders.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's quite the drawing there.
Yeah.
But that doesn't matter, because the clutter doesn't affect my emotional realities. Perhaps, in turn, because the Phoenix by nature responds better to feelings than rationality. I know who I am, who I care for, who I don't. That's what matters. The rest I can take or leave.
Speaking of leaving, it's awfully late time, and I think to follow everybody else's example and return home to bed.
Is that it? Pack up, call things quits, and go our separate ways?
We accomplished what we set out to do. Now, while I deal with the werewolves, the rest of you can go on with your lives.
What about those lives? How are we supposed to live them?
I don't understand, Rachel. What do you mean?
The dream, Captain. Charles Xavier's dream of a world where all Earth's children, mutant and otherwise, live together in peace and harmony. Where people are judged for who they are, not what they look like or how they're born. That's why he created the X-Men, to exemplify that dream. Are you saying simply because the X-Men are dead, we're supposed to give up?
The dream we had, Nightcrawler, remember? Back before this crazy caper began? In it, Rachel said to me, when the reality no longer exists, exploiters can take the legend and make it whatever they want, good or bad.
Are you suggesting we take the X-Men's place?
Nobody can do that. But King Arthur had a dream, too. Little on the nose. Here we go.
Yep.
Of a world where might served right, instead of subjugating it. His Knights of the Round Table were the agents of that dream. And his sword, Excalibur, the symbol of it. He died, the table was destroyed, his knights mostly slain. Yet the dream survived. They became legend. And the sword the means of keeping the legend alive and vital through the ages. The X-Men thought enough of Professor Xavier's dream to offer up their lives. Is it so much to ask that we fight to preserve it? The sword, Excalibur, represented hope. It was the light in the darkness of fear and ignorance and hate. Have we the right to snuff it out? I've run my whole life. I can't remember a time when I wasn't afraid. I let people tell me what to do. It's easier that way, you know? Saves you from having to take responsibility for anything. Well, I'm tired of running. I want to take a stand. Because if I don't, then maybe I better let the werewolves carry me back to the make-believe slave world where I belong. A world of illusion and artifice where whatever sells best gets the glory, whether it's truth or lies.
Where I go here, the color is just doing such heavy work here, right?
Awesome.
The previous with the fire burning bright and illuminating them, and now dying back down in the night sky. This is gorgeous stuff. Myself, I stand for truth and stand by you.
Rachel's life sounds much like mine, Brian. I won't have anyone else endure such horror. I like this dream. It's worth fighting for.
How about you? What the heck? Count me in. With all my heart.
And so, with laughter and transcendent joy, pardon me, the dream is reconsecrated, and Excalibur, that most ancient and noble blade, is once more redrawn. The beginning. Blip, blop, blop. Wow.
Wow, indeed.
And
yes. Blip. Yeah, what's going on there? What's do we know?
Oh, we know. Good old Widget.
Widget. Okay.
Oh, yeah. Widget is a thing.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. So, let me see. Here's issue 1. I'm going to just open this thing up and see if Widget is in issue 1. So, it was a strange inclusion to throw Widget in this and then not have, any reference.
Any real understanding of what it is, or who it
is. Obviously we aren't going through issue 1, at least not right now. But maybe that's also something I can do. Oh, Widget is like right away on start of the next issue.
Gotcha.
Like right.
Hey, remember that robot thing on the back of that?
It was sort of like a to be continued. It's the actual scene with the thing, and there's like dude. Okay, I'm just gonna show. Yeah, remember, I mentioned the see the crazy gang.
Oh yeah,
we've got an off with her head. We've got a Tweedledee.
Yeah,
The Alice in Wonderland stuff is going bigly.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So David says, I don't know how Alan Davis drew this without the internet for reference, Clip Studio for perspective, just pencil and paper and a ruler. I don't think anyone was doing figure work like this, this solid before. I'm going to throw some, love it, yes. Photo references, life drawing classes. I'm going to throw 2 names at you that remind me of this. What's his name and okay, Neil Adams. His figure work wasn't necessarily as sort of 3D, I think, as Alan Davis's is, but Jose Luis Garcia Lopez to me has a little bit of that in him as well. Just that super tight figure work, really, really nice. Excalibur #1 comes out, cover date of October 1988, but of course probably came out a little sooner, probably in the summer of 88. That green isn't really, they could have really done a cool sky thing with some stars, but that's the next issue that comes out, and a nice Phoenix on the back. Cool. I'm super happy to, like, I think I have the first 17 issues maybe. When Alan Davis leaves the series, and I think it's maybe Marshall Rogers does a fill-in, or I don't know who, I was really just in it. I found the story, it's like galaxy hopping, universe hopping stuff, reality hopping, as Claremont kind of wants to do, and as Captain Britain has in his history. I was in it for the art. I found the stories just like a little too out there for me at the time. Sure. So his grounded art was just what I was looking for. When he left, I was done. So David says, Neil Adams even would get a bluebie stretched out. What's a bluebie? But Garcia Lopez, I agree. He mostly did special projects, though. Yeah, you don't get enough of a run of Jose Luis Garcia Lopez, but his work is just beautiful. I love Alan Davis so much. So, Chris, hey, quiet, man. We're doing a show.
Quiet on set.
So, what do you think overall of Excalibur, The Sword is Drawn?
I'm down with it. I like the pawn too, where the pun of it's redrawn, because it's also redrawn. No, I'm down. I was down with all of it. Like, I think, again, that's what, as a kid in that era, that bit of that sci-fi and fantasy world, and the Arthurian stuff, and yeah, for sure. And again, a couple characters, like, now that we have gone through the years that we've gone through, getting close to specifically Nightcrawler and Kitty and Rachel too. It's like, yeah, I want to see more Kitty and Nightcrawler specifically. So yeah.
I still think, and I've said it before, I wanted a little more Arthurian. Right. I want the sword involved in some way.
Yeah.
Maybe there's like another weapon that is like made of the same metal that represents, like, that appears to them or for them for a mission. Like, in this issue, they're just rescuing their friends.
Yeah.
And they just decided to work together to rescue friends. They don't actually go and commit any acts of goodness.
Right.
I think I would have preferred if there was a moment that brought them together, and like the sword appears before them, because give them a little bit of that righteous, a symbol in some way. If you're gonna invoke the name of King Arthur and Excalibur, you better do one step more. But that's my preference, and so be it. I love this comic, though. I really do. Just for the
special one, for sure.
Yeah, very cool. It is super late, man. We've been going for 2 hours 10 minutes.
Good record, maybe.
Is it?
I don't know. Just saying.
We haven't talked about next week. You and I we haven't made our plan. There will be something next week. I don't know what yet, but we'll talk off air if you don't mind for a moment. But other than that, I can flat out say that this brings us to the end of another episode of Previously an X-Men. Thank you, of course, to my good buddy, comic book writer extraordinaire, writer of Group of Seven and Peregrines, Chris Sanigan. Thank you so much for doing this with me, Chris. This is a joy. Really happy we can cover this one together.
Glad to be here.
Of course, you can find all of our info at our website, www.groupa7comics.ca. It is in the link below this video description on YouTube as well. Please do us a favor, click like on the video, subscribe to the channel, and if you think anyone else that would enjoy, please share the link along with that. It would go miles for us to reach newer audiences as well. We value you, and we would love to reach, let's just say, 500. So we're making our way bit by bit. So that would be really great. You can also check our website for upcoming appearances. Follow us on social media at Group of Seven Comics on all the regular channels. See, Chris and I have our personal handles up here as well. You can always follow us at all, and why not? Mm-hmm. Anything else you want to throw in there, Chris?
No, I mean, if you're able to come to one of our shows, advertised shows, come out, say hi. We'd love to see you. Yeah.
Yeah, and let us know. Are you a fan of Excalibur? Whether it was this single issue or the series or the premise, throw a comment in the comment section. We always love to hear what you all have to say, and if this was one that you enjoyed. Yeah, it definitely is a long issue, Michael. You're right. It's like a 48 pager, so it's a double. But there you go.
A lot of voices too in this one.
A
Oh
lot
boy,
of
howdy!
A lot of voices. Hey, Chris, did you end up watching Wrath of Man yet?
Not yet. It's on my list.
All right.
It's on my list.
I had a hunch you had not. All right. That's great. Everyone, I hope you take care of yourselves out there, and we'll see you next time on Previously in X-Men. And everyone, stay exy, bubs. So exy. Yum, yum, yum.